welcome to the Spirit Hunters podcast. I'm Lance White Eagle, and joining me this evening are
Chrissy,
Hunter,
Brenda,
Lisa,
Shane.
And for this episode, we're going to be talking about our recent investigation at the Lions Club in Bradford, PA. Shane, you want to talk a little bit about how we ended up going to the Lions Club?
Don't remember now.
Oh.
But all right, I forget, somebody mentioned it. Oh, Bill Robertson. Goes revisited 1 through almost 8 now.
how much money is
45.
that now, Bill?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bill's part of our team. He told me about it because he did a little story about it the other day. And
what if he doesn't even know
I'll tell you
about
about
this
the
one?
building here in a minute.
Yeah.
He should watch it.
It was a pretty cool
Yeah.
place.
Yeah, Bill might not know about the...
He doesn't even know about our little joke.
Every
inside
time we
joke.
mention his books, we joke around that he
Oh,
owes
so
us money for the advertising.
25 cents
so-
for everyone, and we're like, it's
Yeah.
just stacking up.
Yep.
Yeah.
So-
He actually watches most of our podcasts, so
Does
he
he?
probably
Sure. Well, we'll find out now.
We'll find out now, Bill. Oh, actually, he does on YouTube. He says
We'll find out if we get a
comments lot.
check in the minute.
Yeah. And the Lions Club is just down the street from Chrissy's house, and you've actually gone there quite a few times over the course of your life, right? That's where people go to vote, and
Recently they started, that's where we vote, that's where we voted in the last election, and as a kid they've always had like events down there with like music and things like that, and my one of my good friends in high school's grandfather lived right next door. So we used to spend a lot of time just right in that area.
yeah. And it turned out, we found out that some of our personal friends from Bradford were involved in the Lions Club. Jason and Rocky, who owns the Magic
Bean,
We'll
check it out.
start charging Rocky too.
Yeah.
There you go.
It's a really
That's
cool,
one free coffee, Rocky.
it's a really cool board game cafe in Bradford, Pennsylvania, downtown.
Yeah.
One free beer. What was that beer?
The butter
Rocky,
beer.
you
Butter
owe me a
beer,
butter
coffee.
beer.
There you go.
You guys may have noticed that the people we work with, we try to help out anyone that we think
Yeah.
is doing a good thing or are good people.
And the Lions Club in general, all across the
Yeah.
U.S., raises
Oh, God,
money
yeah.
to help children and different causes and communities.
Provides eyeglasses for a lot.
When I was
Yeah.
a child, I got a pair of eyeglasses from the
Yes.
Lions Club.
Yeah.
They do a lot of great work, and they're all volunteers. So join your local Lions Club
And, or when you see
and
the little
support them.
thing of mints sitting out. You know, a lot of businesses
your
will
little-
put the mints out for
Yeah.
a quarter. You know, and that quarter goes to help your community and children in need. and
Well, when
things
I was a
like
kid, they would put on the Christmas parade.
Yes.
And they give you all little packages like with Christmas stuff in it and oranges. I don't get the oranges, but I loved it.
Yeah.
And it was a special time.
Orange, getting oranges.
They do a lot of good
Christmas is like a
things
special
in
thing.
almost every community everywhere. So
that. They certainly do. And I can't remember if we were talking to Rock, but we were talking to somebody about how like attendance just nationwide for Lions clubs and things like
Yeah.
that are going down.
And they're
Like, young
looking for
people
some
aren't getting
fresh,
involved.
like newer people to come in and take the place of the other people that are transitioning out.
a lot of these places we work with, that's the case. They can't get the youth in there
Yeah.
or the historical societies. We need more young people to get involved with these things and to keep these programs to help us all.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Yeah. And helps your community. Helps you feel like you're a part of something.
Right.
Well, so we could say going into this thing, I wasn't expecting us to really.
None of us were.
I mean, I
The
figured,
stories
you know.
beforehand were we thought we would have some cool stuff because the stories were that at least 2 of the previous caretakers were the ones that most people were seeing, including Kim said it was okay for us to talk about him. Kim is one that takes care of the building now. Jason, that they mentioned earlier, is the president of the board.
Yeah, it's.
Kim was working in the cleaning up the place after a dance or something like that happened. He went to the restroom. He comes back out, and 2 of the previous caretakers that he knew when they were alive were standing out in the hallway there. Saw him as clear as day. Said something about the good job he was doing, and just walked away. You know. So I mean that's really cool when you have spirits. Not only you can see clearly but actually interactive.
Yeah.
Well, he said the first time he saw him, he goes, if you want me to be able to do this work, don't be staring at me.
Yeah.
I'm a little nervous about him.
Yeah, hey, he seemed like
I like
I didn't
him
get the chance to talk
Yeah,
to him much.
I
He was
chatted
pretty
with him
cool.
for
He
like,
was cool. He
I
was
don't know,
really
10,
cool.
15
He's very
minutes.
helpful,
He's really,
you know, knew a
Very
lot about the
knowledgeable.
place, exactly.
Yeah.
Now he did say too, real quick, when he cleans that place, he hears a lot of noises and things get moved,
Yeah.
and sometimes things just disappear.
Right.
So he said when that activity kicks up, he opens the metal screen that goes down to the bar. For some reason, when he opens that, they leave it alone. But I think he's accidentally setting his intent, you know.
With the noise behind
Yeah,
there.
somebody
we
tapped
were
on the
hearing-
screen.
Somebody
That
tapped on
metal
that, and we were
screen
trying to
was-
figure out how to get back there
They were
because we
probably,
were hearing.
I wish you guys
yeah.
were there, because they were wanting you to open
They probably
that.
like-
We
Well,
wouldn't-
hey,
yeah, we
open
didn't,
it up.
we didn't
Wanna
know
see what you
that,
guys
so
do.
that makes a lot of
that
a lot of
does.
sense.
I also want to mention, it used to be an ice rink, right? And then it went to a roller rink?
Yes.
Yeah, it was a pavilion and ice rink in the 1800s. In the early 1900s, from what I understand from Kim, it was within the first, few years of the 1900s. They concreted that over, put some big timber down, and then built a base
Roller
for the
rink.
Lions Club
Yeah.
that's currently now. The fireplace is a big, huge, old fireplace. That fireplace is original to what the pavilion was, and it dates back into the 1800s.
I was going to say, remember that, the roller rink, because that's going to come into play later. Pretty,
Well, roller rink was later.
that's what I'm saying.
In the 50s, I think that.
Talking about for the spirit
or
box
70s
thing
or
later.
something like that.
Yeah, I think that. Well, we'll talk about it when we get there.
And then
So-
the very front, if you ever go in this building, the very front part was built within the past like 10, 15 years, I think.
Yeah.
The part with
The
the
front little-
restrooms
yeah,
on it,
2003,
like a
yeah,
foyer
that's like the
and-
newest part. The
Yeah.
rest of it's like the
2003,
original.
so I said
building.
that.
The middle part
Was
is
that
the
Kim's
original, and then they
style?
had a little, the other edition
Was
was
his
in the
name
40s
Kim
or 50s or
Stiles?
something they had.
What was Kim's last name?
Irvin.
Oh,
Irvin.
because Kim
Irvin.
Stiles joined, and I thought maybe it was the same Kim.
Oh, no.
I don't know. Kim, the maintenance man, is probably
Watching
not a
on TikTok.
TikToker. No.
No, but he did join our Facebook.
Yeah. So we got there around what 6
6 o'clock.
6 o'clock or
6
so,
o'clock,
and started setting up. We were joined on this investigation with
Hey, Western
Yeah.
Cemeteries, thank you for the heart.
Yeah.
Appreciate that.
Hey, guys. Hey,
Yeah.
guys. Hello there.
We were joined on this investigation by one of Chrissy's co-workers, Zach, and his
Fiance, Jackie.
So yeah, we got there. We began setting up stuff, and what was the first?
Oh, the spirit ball went crazy where the caretakers are,
Yeah.
Where the caretakers were seen, yeah.
where they were
Oh,
seen.
I think the
That
REM
started
pod
going
was
off a
also
lot.
going
in
off
the
around
REM
there.
pod.
Okay,
So,
so
Dreamers Paranormal?
yeah,
Sorry.
this on YouTube.
I forgot.
They put down while we were still setting up a cat ball in the hallway where Kim had said he saw the caretakers, and that started going off before actually we even were finished setting everything up.
Yeah.
And then the REM pod in that same area began to.
Just
Yeah, it
on
was
the
right
other
on
side
that
of the
table.
doorway.
That was right where he had seen the two caretakers, is where these things were
Yeah.
going off as well.
And it made sense for us.
Yeah.
Later, you got more evidence that somebody was in that area too. We'll talk about it.
Ironically, like we got a lot of, I mean, obviously it's connected on to the original building, but the new addition is where we got a lot of,
We see
Well,
that a lot
activity.
too. Places with additions,
mhm.
the additions also seem to become new
Yeah.
lots.
Yeah. Well, I
the
think it's just they
older
realize that they can
residents.
actually, because it's the same building now, they might be able to just, go to one area.
I think most of them do what
But
they want.
right off the bat, when you and I went upstairs after setting up with the cat balls, like we had 4 or 5 cat balls up there, and almost every single one was
Oh, they
going
were
off.
going off crazy.
The one in the back room would only go off when there was nobody near the room.
Yeah.
When you get close to it, which I actually have on video of trying to get it to go off, it wouldn't go off. It just stayed on. But
Something on the TV just said charge the battery.
weird.
So I don't
Is
know
that camera plugged in?
what's going
Well,
to
we
shut
can
off.
pause this, and Lance can just edit that section out. But let me.
Camera check.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Camera
Sorry, TikTok, we're having a quick tech
Lee,
check,
thanks for the
but
gift. Appreciate
we can,
that.
We can, well, we should
Yeah,
probably
TikTok,
wait
we're-
to keep
We can
Yeah.
just
chatting.
chop this part out.
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
It's-
TikTok.
If anybody has any
Like,
questions in the meantime while he's checking that, feel free to drop them in the comments.
Sure. Maybe
Thank you everybody for joining.
When I do this, let me know if that screen gets brighter.
And Lee Love just got the number 2 gifter badge.
It got brighter?
Woo! Do you want to make your
It's
weird
going.
noise, Shane?
Oh, I see it come out right that time.
I don't know if that
Sound
probably
like a
wouldn't
actor.
be good with the mic right there. That'd be super
Yeah.
loud.
Alright. I think we're okay. Because it's plugged in, it's got power. And it lit up, the screen lit up when it plugged it in, so.
Oh,
Okay.
okay.
But it did that, and you're sure it's not the computer, right? It's not.
It's not even
plugged
it's
into
not even plugged in the
Okay.
computer at all. Sorry about that TikTok.
Yeah. Nope.
Alright.
Get back in the exact position you were when
Yes.
you got it.
TikTok is Lance's birthday today.
Oh yeah!
Happy
Happy
birthday,
birthday,
Lance.
Lance!
I have to cut that out on YouTube.
He
too.
is 50
No,
today.
no, he's now
Oh.
middle-aged.
No, he's actually 40.
No, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, you're
No, he's not.
But that's amazing because I'm 50.
Yeah.
Thanks for the shares.
Alright, are you ready to resume? Hunter,
Yeah.
you gotta get back in the exact position you were when you
Alright.
stood up.
He's in the position.
That one person says happy birthday.
Yeah.
So, Lise, when we got there, you also pretty early on asked your rods about divining in there, would you?
Originally, they said no. Like I always ask the 3 questions, may I, can I, should I? And it was no. So just like, okay, put those ones away, pull the other ones out, same thing. So
Which is
just
weird, because
like-
that's only happened like once or twice in the
And then
beginning where they
I
tell
was
you no,
talking
right?
to the-
a couple times, yeah.
Yeah,
Little
and then
girl.
I thought it was
And
pretty
then
cool how later on they'd let you.
Yeah.
They probably realize, hey, they're nice people. And,
Sometimes you gotta just get to know somebody, you know?
Yeah.
See what they're up to first before
Yeah.
you.
But eventually they did come around and I was able to use them, so.
Yeah.
What I think I was talking to the little girl on the EMF reader, and I know you had been sitting there with us, and she said that she used to go skating there, and we got like a little information. She didn't want to talk about how old she was when she died, or like when she died, or anything like that. And a lot of times it's easier to get a name on the rods. So I asked the little girl, would you be willing to talk to Lisa? And she said yes. I got like, it was my EMF reader, it would like redline when I would ask these questions or go up. So that's when you got the rods out, and then we got those super weird responses, and
Yeah.
just like, and then it was like, they said they weren't the little girl, and I don't know, do you remember
Oh,
the
she
rest
changed
of...
what she said to her?
Well, we don't know if we were actually talking to the little girl on the rods, or if it was something messing with us, or what, but she
Something else.
got some really weird, if you want to elaborate, do you remember what you got, or...
All
hard to
I
remember on the
know
spot.
is that
What?
when we try to figure out if it's a boy or a girl, we say, are you a boy? They'll say yes or no. They said it was no for a boy, no for a girl. So, I mean,
And then we asked
At
if,
first it said
they
it
were
was a girl,
human, and they
then it
said
wasn't.
no.
yeah.
I believe
Yeah.
The EMF
there was
said it
something
a girl,
about
yeah.
they were afraid of something on the other side.
Yeah, there was somebody,
Yeah.
something there on the other side was making them afraid to even want to
And
talk.
that'll
that's-
correlate
so
with
that'll
some
come back
stuff
in
when
later.
they...
Yeah, we got
Yeah.
a lot of different things that we're
This
talking
might be a
about this
little
way.
bit of a lot.
I wasn't even aware that Lisa and Chrissy was doing this.
Yeah.
Hunter and I were upstairs,
Yeah.
and I think Big Tom.
Big time.
Big Tom.
Big Tom.
You know what? I think I forgot to tell Tom to come out tonight.
Big
Sorry,
Tom.
Tom.
I mean, it was private.
Kind of a last minute.
Birthday.
thing.
The Lions Club was in Pennsylvania.
Bradford,
Whoa,
Pennsylvania.
whoa.
Well,
I
take,
mean, I don't- I
YouTube,
won't-
I'm sorry, we might have some.
But it would be funny if we cut to like a picture of Tom. Just by himself.
Just
to
Tom
be in
like
the
a
dark.
Just crying.
So yeah, you got that it said it was not human, that it was something else.
And they were afraid to talk. It seemed like they were afraid to talk because
Yeah.
of something on the other side.
Yeah.
And that was in the Lions Club?
Yeah,
Yeah.
which
It
is
was
also
in the
happened
it was in the
somewhere else.
cafeteria area, like
No,
the meeting
This was
room
when they
area.
were still down in the cafeteria.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hunter and I were getting very similar stuff, and we'll talk about here in a second.
Yeah.
Upstairs at the same
At the
time.
same time, but we didn't know what
Yeah.
you know.
But
We
and
were
then
all
the
there.
other ones later, they all kind of came together.
Yeah. While you two were doing that, we kept hearing, which at first we thought was you guys upstairs, somebody move around in the far room over
Oh,
top.
yeah.
You know, we'd hear something drag or footsteps move back and forth.
We actually have a video of that where we're sitting up there and we can hear him. Well, I was doing the spirit box at the time. He's like, is somebody, walking over there? And obviously we weren't.
No, yeah, I even came up
Lance,
one time to see.
well, like 4 or 5 times. Are you moving something here? Are you walking over here? And I'm sitting on a cooler, and he's sitting on the chair,
Mhm.
and he's got, the stuff on.
I was doing the spirit box.
We weren't doing anything.
Headphones.
But when you were asking those questions, we were getting spirit ball activity like crazy.
You were
Red
getting-
Pots,
The ball going off where we were hearing downstairs a thing walking,
Mhm.
and then upstairs the ball would go.
Oh, I was
It's like it was just-
downstairs
Yeah.
and heard the walking in the REM pod over by
Yeah.
there was going on.
Mhm.
we'll
It's
post those spirit ball videos soon. I have a lot of them on my camera.
Whatever was-
We have other cameras too.
setting off that ball in the back room. I'm guessing was just walking back and forth,
And
maybe
we were
touching
hearing
it.
it
Yeah, we
moving,
might have
and
been,
you guys
yeah,
were
hearing
seeing
the
the results
shuffling.
from the
Exactly.
ball.
But it sounded like you guys were just running around from room to room at one point. It was like,
Yeah,
not supposed to
Yep.
be banging on the
Yeah.
table, but yeah, we could hear it like very.
but what's is kind of interesting though is like so, and we got stuff later claiming that, but I didn't get any negative feeling from there
No,
I didn't.
at all. And
Upstairs we kind of did, and then when you were doing that spirit box
well,
session.
it's not like a negative.
We didn't feel this
You
negative
didn't-
thing,
no, yeah.
but the spirits there.
Said
Yeah.
Seemed to be
negative.
But that
Well,
makes
and we felt their negativity because of what they
that
felt.
makes me also wonder though, like, because we've also had things that just messed with us.
Mm.
Yeah, we've
Too.
had things that have made us like
That'll give us
upset
answers
or sick
just
or
to,
yeah.
This was several different people, so.
Yeah,
And the one upstairs kind of validated that for me.
that's true.
But this is the thing. Alright, there's a lot, and we probably talked about this some before.
Was this-
Not every spirit, obviously, is a human spirit, right?
Right.
Sometimes it could be other things, things that weren't really intended to maybe interact with humans or even human spirits, but sometimes they get your attention.
Right.
And they like to amuse themselves sometimes.
Yeah.
And I kind of feel like that maybe that's what was going on here.
Probably.
None of these things seem to be tormented there. They just were scared of this thing.
They were scared of something,
And
yeah.
they said they were being held there. But even like the one kid upstairs, he was like, well, it is what it is.
Yeah.
It's not like he was being tortured. I
Well-
think this thing was amusing itself by keeping all these people there.
So I went back and watched the video. By the way, it's on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. But it didn't seem like he seemed like he was fine in that room. Almost
Yeah.
like the bad guy downstairs couldn't go into that room.
Well, he didn't even say. He just said he was afraid of something downstairs.
Yeah.
But did something?
That
Did
was
you guys
currently
have
downstairs?
something that said?
We might want to
Actually,
explain more
correct.
about what you're talking
Yeah, we will.
about.
Like,
Well,
we'll have-
but did you guys have something that's actually said it was being held there? Because that's not what
Yes.
it said when I
And
was.
that they was, when it started coming upstairs, several of them started panicking.
Well, on the first spirit box.
He's coming, he's coming,
On
he's
the other
coming.
side of the alley.
Run,
Yeah.
help us.
Yeah.
And I hate when they ask for help and you feel so used to
But
it.
like Shane said, it didn't feel negative. There.
No.
And nobody that we talked to has reported feeling anything negative there.
Well,
And when it supposedly came upstairs, all those things shut up. And then something said, I'm standing outside the window looking at
Yeah, I'm at the
that's
looking
one
glass.
thing we heard was
Looking
through
glass
the
and window, he
through
used
the
repeated.
glass or
Through
through
the
the
looking
window.
glass.
What was that? What you? That's what something like that.
You
Well, that's
Yeah.
what I was saying on the spirit box with these guys when it was
No.
dead.
You guys were getting upstairs. That she was getting on the
We were
rods
getting
outside.
it, yeah, when we were
like,
talking,
out the
whatever
window.
So there
scene
was
was.
definitely
Window.
something out there then.
it. Yeah, he said
we
he
didn't
was,
use- what-
literally, he said he was standing on the other side of the window.
It was like
Look
through
at
the
me.
window
Look, he
or
kept
through
his-
something.
So
that
you
we
guys,
got, yeah.
we're upstairs
Like that.
getting something
Real-
outside looking at the window.
And
you guys
then
were
you get a
down
little
there.
bit of a creepier
That's
feeling.
pretty crazy.
But whatever it was, and and all of a sudden the other voices start coming through to him. He's leaving. He's going back. He's leaving the room. And then all of a sudden they're chattering again, right?
Mhm.
But when whatever this thing came up, probably leaving you guys, they were scared to death.
It is interesting to
They
note
seem
though.
to be scared to death.
Both. I mean, if they're spirits and they don't know what it is,
Right.
if it's something just vague. But with Lisa's rods, it was saying it was outside too, and your thing was saying it was outside. Maybe it actually wasn't even in the building.
I got
Well,
attached
also
to the
this-
land.
Well, we
Well,
got all that
I just had a thought. What if
activity around the building.
you said on you got your rods there was something that wasn't ever a human,
Yeah.
And you just said something about maybe whatever was not human there. The people upstairs were mistaking that as something negative because they didn't.
Oh yeah, because they didn't understand.
So
what
they're
it
human
was.
spirits. I don't think they knew. All right. So we should say when me and Hunter and I were doing our thing, you guys were downstairs. On 3 different voices, 2 I think women, 1 man, said he's Satan. Now, I'm thinking that obviously we don't think it was Satan.
No.
I think that that's how they related.
were
it.
Which is
Yeah.
what
And
we
that's
actually
what we
just.
got.
That's what I think, Brenda. You would ask, "Are you Satan or are you evil?" Somebody asked, like, "Are you in it?"
Yeah,
You
because
got
it was
yes.
on the rods and it
Yeah.
said it was Satan.
No, I didn't ask if
We
it
were
So-
trying to see
No,
if it was something
that was
negative.
after you guys. At first, Lisa asked, "Are you evil?" And it said like, like not really, like neutral.
Mm.
After you guys said, "Oh, we got on the spirit box."
Satan.
Yeah, that's when you guys asked, and it was like, "Yeah, sure."
Yeah, well,
Yeah, sure,
that
that's
I
who I am,
discussed.
yeah.
Obviously, which we already know, but for the viewers, sometimes things can portray themselves as evil, and people don't know it as anything
Well,
other
they
than
can portray themselves
Well, because you
as
got to think, like in the
scary.
movies, right? Every time there's just a demon, say a low-level demon, whatever, they always assume
Yeah.
the devil, the Satan. You know, it's
But
Of
it's
course,
not,
also,
normally.
okay.
I think that's what they related to.
yeah.
You're talking to a spirit who's very much like a person.
Mm.
And
And
that's
some
their
of them
only
could have
frame
been
of reference.
from. One of them could. I know the one we were thinking was from the '80s, but some of them could have been older, like from the 1800s. And back then
Oh,
they
I'm
didn't
sure
have
there
as
was a
much of an
variety of age
understanding
groups
as
there.
Yeah.
what we do. So a lot of times they went to like, okay, that's Satan, that's the devil.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's-
it's one or the other.
Maybe we
yeah.
should know too, before we got onto all that stuff with Hunter, we were talking to Bud and George, who were 2 previous caretakers.
And Silas,
And they
right?
were interacting intelligently using the spirit
Mhm.
moths with us. They ended up getting kind of overtaken by all these other ones, you know?
Well, that's what I was going to say too, because like I said, nobody that we talked to about it had any negativity, and it didn't feel negative to us.
I don't think
We're
it is negative. You know,
I don't think it's there. all
well,
the
I
time.
don't think, I shouldn't say
I
It
negative.
could have been
That's a-
something visiting.
It could have been something that that hangs out outside. There's
That
a creek
area,
not
right?
by,
Yeah.
and it sees us coming in and
It says,
talking.
"Ooh,
and
let's see what this
Let's
is."
see what's going on here.
Well,
Which
when-
would explain why everything's afraid of it.
And
'cause
why
they're like,
everything
what the
was
hell is
hiding.
this?
When
Yeah, but we
Lisa and
did-
I were walking around the building, I was getting a bunch of spikes on my meter. And
Big.
it's not like we were around a transformer or
No,
anything
big
like that. And it was
EMS spikes.
constantly like, getting spikes just
And
walking
I do
around.
think that. I think the property, and we also know, by the way, guys, that there's a burial mound, Native American burial mound close to there. I
It
don't know if that had
actually-
anything to do with it.
It's super
But-
close, like right across the water, like over here is where
Right.
where it would
Right,
have
and
been.
sometimes when you desecrate things, other things can appear. This is my personal opinion about this whole thing, right? I think it's probably some type of elemental that the spirit somehow got his attention, right? And I don't think he's evil. I don't think he has a sense of right and wrong like we do at all, right? The human spirits obviously think he's evil because he's not letting them move on. I think he's playing with them. I think they're like, when you get a kid and he's got a thing full of worms or something, that's almost how I feel like this thing might have been.
Yeah.
Except he
You know,
wasn't
looking
even
at
in the building.
Huh?
For what
We don't have
at
to
that
be-
point, we don't
I
know
think
if
he's
he
holding
was
to the
just
property.
never.
I think
Maybe
he's
at
holding
that
them
time
to
he
the
wasn't
property.
in the building, or he was.
I don't think he's going out and bringing things here.
No.
I think
No.
he's attached to that property somehow. There's water, there's burial, there's
Even the
no
land
one else.
around it.
And anything that's happened in his property area, I think he's holding. Maybe. It
That-
seems to be either that's what one of the things he said, and then one of the things that Sam said later.
Well, I have
When he's being held.
a question.
No, Sam didn't
That
say he was-
school you
Yeah,
were
he said
saying
they
got
won't-
closed
he
down
won't let 'em
up
leave.
the street from you.
It was right. Okay, here's
No,
where the
that's
Lions
uncle.
Club is. There's the baseball
His
field right
uncle.
here, up at the road, right before you turn.
Right.
That's
Was
where the
there-
school was. That
Was
was an
there
elementary
any
school.
stories that you know of from there? Because he said that
I heard.
big old trailer they have in the back.
That was from
It's
there.
from the school. So
I don't,
maybe it's possible that it came from there or something.
I don't
know. I'm just
remember
trying to
hearing
think
any
of.
stories. I went to Catholic school, so I didn't go to that school. I would have if I went to public, but I don't remember hearing any stories there. But I mean, a lot of things, like teachers that taught their kids that might have went there and somebody might have passed away. like anybody, there, you know, there's the possibility.
Yeah.
Plus that baseball field, like people have been playing on there for like, you know, decades. So
long
like,
time.
you know, somebody might be attached to that.
And you think too, of the stuff we were talking to, none of it said that it does anything harmful, other than seems to be corralling. I
Like
think it's almost-
intimidating or
Yeah,
something.
I think because he's able to do that.
Mhm.
But that's just my opinion.
Also, only about 500 yards away is a nursing home, which has a lot of people passing. Some of those people could be in and out of there
It
too.
I
could,
don't think it's even that.
but most of the voices
No.
that came
Is it
across
the
were all
nursing home?
from
It's
Hunter's
right across the water. You can
an
actually
explanation
see
were
the-
not elderly necessarily. But he does sometimes he say older man's voice or something, but mostly
I say older man's, not
Could
old
have been
man.
more.
Older could be my age, your age, or anybody higher.
well, it
You know?
depends on what the reference is. If you just said a young girl just talked.
Well, you can
now
tell the
older male,
difference.
You know.
You know, my voice clouds obviously sounds younger than your voices. So if somebody was listening to the outside in, they would be like, "Oh,
What are you trying to say?
I don't know if it actually does, because sometimes, like if it's on the phone or in the walkie,
You
I don't
sound
know if it's
exactly
you or
alike.
we all do
No.
sound pretty similar."
But when we relate something we hear on
Well,
the
throw
spirit
everything
box,
I just said out.
we relate to how we
Perceive it
how we
sound.
perceive, right?
Let's just get more back to like what we actually got.
Okay,
So,
so in the beginning, one of the things we got while you guys were doing the rods and the EMF, I think, is when we started getting the knocking.
Oh, the knocking
Oh.
was really cool.
That was when we were
I think
doing
was while
the
you were talking
first
before.
spirit
Yeah, and
box
then
up
I
there,
came
so
over
it's like-
Yeah.
after.
Yeah, so in the main hallway right by the women's bathroom, I don't know why.
Where the caretakers
And then later I
stand
got the-
a lot.
Well,
Yeah,
activity
if it
behind
was Sam, who we think it was, perhaps that's why he's in the women's bathroom. But in that same hallway is also where that guy
I
sees
think
the two
it might have
people.
been the caretaker.
I
I thought it was
Makes sense.
Charlie or,
Yeah.
or
So, well, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
I don't know why
George and
I
Bud.
started knocking
George
on the
and
wall.
Bud. That's who it
Because I
was.
told you there was not. I heard knocking on the wall.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, Lisa heard it, so I tapped, and then it would tap back. So, like,
Yeah.
if you tapped on the wall again from, like, the women's bathroom, you'd hear it, like, knocking
When,
back.
when you walk in, there was like the lobby area, and then there was this hall with the women's bathroom and then the men's bathroom. So we're talking about like down the hall. Like
Yeah.
we would knock one place, and then you'd hear it on the other side, on the other wall, like knock back.
I was just saying, that's why I want to point this out. So when Lance would knock, it wasn't like it was knocking back at one spot.
No,
So it's not
it
like it was a
was
pipe in the
different
wall or
places.
something.
It did it in the men's
It was
room,
in
women's
3 or
room,
4
the
different
hallways,
the ceiling,
all
the
different
foyer,
ways.
it did everything.
Yeah.
And it seemed to like one of the first ones was, like, in the women's room, loudly. So, like, you guys went in there to hear it, and then I knocked, and instead of answering in the
that.
women's room, it knocked on the back wall.
Yeah.
You know, if you went to the back wall,
It
it
was-
knocked in the men's room.
And it, for some reason, most of the time, I'm sure it did with other people, majority liked to respond to you when you knocked.
They
Remember when I
liked
was
you.
knocking a couple
Yeah.
times, we didn't hear anything. I think there might have been some other people, but almost every time you knocked,
Yeah,
It would go
yeah.
off.
But Tom and I, at different times in the bathroom. Want to put that
Men's
out
or
there.
women's?
Men's.
Because
In the
I
men's.
heard when
no,
I
they went
was.
together.
Well, you finished what you were gonna say, and then but I had an.
Well,
This sounds weird. I had an experience outside of the men's
we
bathroom.
both had heard
But
knocking,
anyway.
knocking while we were in there. And with me, I also heard like movement in the stall.
In,
I said,
one
hey,
of the other
now,
stalls.
excuse me, I'm using the restroom, you know.
Yeah, I heard him. I
And
was
then
out there
it
smoking.
stopped.
Dad's in there
When
talking to
I went there for a while, when you guys were doing some of the spirit box stuff upstairs, I went in that hallway by myself, and I sat outside of the men's room because I didn't want to go in, and I rolled the ball in, and I was like, I'm not going in there because it's a men's bathroom, but if you want to talk to me. And something was setting that ball off, and I did hear like whispering too, like right outside of the men's room.
Yeah.
Wait, somebody else said
So, like-
something.
Tom and I
We
both
heard
heard
whispering.
somebody talking in the men's room.
But this is the
Well,
same hallway
I was
with the
in the
knocking.
hallway. I
and-
was there with you at one point.
Yeah, no, when I went to the
Tom
bathroom,
said-
I could hear
Oh.
somebody in there, and I was like, thanks, but I'm using the bathroom. I can't talk to you.
A ghost locked Lisa in the bathroom.
Yes, it did.
I had to crawl under there in
Yes,
this
it
little
did.
tiny gap and just sort of
Which
push the
doesn't
latch
make
loose.
any sense because the first time I went to the bathroom was shortly after we got there. It locked and opened without any issues.
Yeah.
No,
And
I mean
then
the building
A
was
few
well
hours
maintained.
later, when
yeah.
I went back in there, it locked easily, but for some reason it just
It,
wouldn't.
it wasn't easy either. So like, obviously, I couldn't just jump
For
over the
several
top.
minutes, I was locked because nobody was answering my messages.
Well, someone had a walkie on himself.
that's right. We went back in to try to knock him. I knocked and he was like, bang.
They're just banging on the wall. We're like, what the hell are you doing?
It
But,
was
like,
me.
it was like this little gap, like literally about a foot tall, and like I couldn't jump over. I had to slide on my back on a freaking bathroom floor and like reach up and just try to force that lock over. And
It was stuck.
yeah,
Yeah, and it was, her point was
It's not
it
rusty, it's not-
it
it
glided easily.
The thing is,
That's why
I used the
you're
same
supposed to
stall
have
and
your-
I
It was
didn't
the same
it
stall.
wasn't stuck
Yeah,
or
no.
anything.
Really?
Yeah,
That's
I
why
used
you're
it
supposed
after
to
that,
have your
and it was
walkie-talkie
like,
on.
yeah,
yeah.
that's
Lisa,
weird.
Lisa has this thing where she doesn't like.
I
to keep
had
her
2
walkie.
walkies. The first one was squealing every time somebody came through, and then the second one, it died. So
She's like, you know what? I'm just gonna.
Who else has
Not
died?
taking
Somebody
it.
else has
Mine.
died.
But
too.
if she'd have
Lance's,
had a walkie on her, the point is, she wouldn't have got stuck in a
I
bathroom.
had 2.
She had
I
two.
had 2.
They were not
working
working.
walkie.
I don't know.
She had a
It seemed to
working
be
one.
Y'all give
interference
me all
because
the
when we were
crappy ones.
outside, we called inside, and I know your grandma
Yes.
answered us back, and we never
Answered,
got the
and
answer.
they're
I
not
said we were
getting an answer.
outside smoking when you were out
Yeah,
there.
and we didn't get any. Like there
But,
was some
yeah,
weird.
there
We
was some
also had a
interference.
weird walkie when you were doing the rods and you had the EMF. Remember, our walkies
It
turned
going,
on and we
yeah.
could hear you guys doing the spirit. Nobody
Yeah.
was on it.
No.
Like it was like somebody was holding down the button and we just heard you guys doing the
Yeah.
spirit.
Yeah.
So you.
Really?
were-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Remember, it was just me, you, and Tom up there
No,
Yeah. at that time.
Zach and Jackie were up there with
That was the second time. That was right before they came up. The first time it was me,
yeah, they
Dad,
were
and
down
Tom.
with us.
Oh.
And I had my walkie on my side. Obviously, it's a flat button, so you have to really push it in. You can't just lean it against something. I could hear you through the walkie every time you would come through when I'm on the spirit box. And at the same time, they're downstairs as if someone's holding one of our walkie
Yeah,
buttons
just holding
on.
the button down.
It was
And
weird.
we could hear all your voices far away. Like
Yeah,
it wasn't
it was-
like you were holding it up.
Something was messing.
Yeah.
You know.
But
So,
yeah, for like
even
30
had
seconds
her-
at a time.
Even had her
Yeah.
walkie be working,
That's weird
it
because I
might
had my
not have
walkie
been
off
working
sitting
at that
beside me on the
moment.
thing, and he had his on the table. Matter of fact, I found it there later, so just pick on it.
Mm-hmm.
I
Yeah.
found it.
Oh, you found it? But we also should talk about the light anomalies.
Oh, remember the light in the hall?
The
That
laser
was
wait,
the ball
lights.
of light
Before you
going
go-
down the hall.
There, I want to mention, related to the bathroom, Tom was in there and he heard a conversation being had by 2 spirits
Oh,
talking
okay.
back and forth to each other
Yeah.
while he was sitting in there. So the
place is
caretakers
definitely
were
hot.
hanging around in the men's room.
Well, before we get to the lights, let's talk about the other voice because we heard those
Oh, we heard
fast
the-
too. We heard.
Yeah.
I thought it was Jackie in the kitchen saying hello,
Oh,
and I went
yeah, it
over
was
there
it.
like she was upstairs with you guys.
And then
Oh, yeah,
Hunter
we
was
did
in the
that.
front area opening up a can of Red Bull.
Red Bull.
And Lisa and I were standing there, and we heard Hunter clear his throat. And
Well,
Lisa's
some
like,
man.
And I'm sitting.
yeah, it was like a, like,
Well, no, they thought it was me.
yeah.
I
We
didn't
asked,
read-
Lisa asked, did you just clear your throat? And Hunter's like, no. And I'm like,
And then I was like,
Becca was coming from the
went
kitchen.
and tested. I was like,
No.
she goes, yeah, just like that. And I was like, hell, I didn't do it.
I
On
got
camera.
Right where the
You know.
caretakers are
Well,
sitting.
there were a
Yeah.
couple things in the kitchen.
Oh yeah, we
all
heard
sound.
voices a couple of times.
I heard
saw
banging
somebody
on
walk
the
in
overhead, the metal on the.
on the stove.
I should say too, Mike, because you mentioned that. I saw in the kitchen, with behind the camera, a dark shadow walk behind the camera. Because you know how the camera will
Yes.
light up
Yeah.
the wall? I saw a shadow.
Yeah, it's the same thing I saw.
Not to mention, how many of us saw?
Same place?
Yeah.
Really?
Mhm.
How many of us? We had that laser grid in the hallway, right off the lobby where we were. How many times did people see those lasers? Which, keep in mind, are fixed. They're fixed lights. It's a freaking laser.
Yeah.
The one you'd have a green light just mysteriously just
Well, we
you know.
had
it
a
was
ball.
thick.
It was like this
Yeah.
big that was like
Really?
going alongside that hallway wall.
See, that's weird. Like,
It
how
was
does
going
something
up and down the
Up
wall,
and down,
along the
side
How
to
does
floor.
side,
something
on the
manipulate
ceiling.
a light
It
like
wasn't
that or a
manipulating
laser?
the laser we found because
It
then
was a
later
separate light.
Shane and I
You think
both
it's
saw.
reflecting off of it?
No, it's a separate light. It just
It's a
looks
separate
like it. He
one.
was just
Really?
showing us himself
Different
in the grid.
forms.
It was almost like it was taking that light and making it
Yeah.
all
Maybe, but when they were doing the EMF, I walked in the main room where there's no laser grid.
Right.
I stood like in those tiles, and I saw the same light go across the
Yeah,
tile.
I remember you saying that. You were like, "There's that light again" or something.
Yeah.
When we were in the hall.
And
No,
it
no
wouldn't
lights.
just
No.
go
No,
on
it's
the
so
ceiling. It went down on the floor,
Yeah,
like the
when
middle
we
of
were
the
all,
room.
then Lisa, Chrissy, and I are all watching it move on the wall.
And we've seen light alleys, but
And
nothing
we
like
were-
this.
I- like, I
Just
went
moved
and-
around all over.
I went and tried to manipulate everything. Like there was one time we did see that there was like a laminated piece of paper that was reflecting some light. So like I went and like touched everything to make sure, and it's
Yeah.
like we couldn't figure out what the source.
Another weird thing.
of it
So
was.
Liz is telling me about this almost, this weird ball that you guys were talking about, right?
Mhm.
And I'm sitting there, and on the right where you go from the foyer into
Yes,
the
it's the same
dining
place
room,
I saw it. Yeah.
I see an eclair-shaped size and shape go across the ceiling like that.
Yeah.
It looked like a little torpedo or something going across.
I just want to point out too, for you guys at home
I don't
watching
know.
this,
It's weird.
we are very good at trying to debunking things and
Yes.
figuring out what was
And we're
what.
not used to seeing weird like
No,
like
and-
things like that.
For this, there's no way in this hallway. There's only one possible window that it could have came from, and it was around the corner down the hall. So for something to say, a car went by and it made that reflection, you know how it does.
Well,
Plus,
also
plus
cars
it's
can't
a
drive by.
parking
There's
lot
nowhere to
unless
go.
they go on
And
the
it's
block,
100,
yeah.
200 yards off.
And
the
it was
road.
dark outside.
So
Yeah.
there was
I would
no
say at least
way
200 yards
possible.
away from the road, and there's building
Yeah.
in between.
And there's no way
thanks
a
for the gift,
light
Emily.
can go
Appreciate
up
that.
and down and back and
No,
forth.
yeah,
across
and
the-
we're
go across the floor.
At first, we thought, oh, maybe it's reflecting off Lisa's glasses or like art. So we're just still. And
Yeah.
it's like,
And mine didn't look like
Yeah.
a reflection at all.
no.
You know what it looked like? You know how you get like a soap bubble? It looked like an oblong-shaped soap bubble that was lit up from the inside.
Like on the Wizard of Oz with like the Glinda the
So-
Good ball. that comes
so
down.
like an orb.
Maybe it was-
Like an orb, yeah.
Yeah. It looked like an elongated
Lit
soap bubble
up
that was,
orb.
had its own light coming from inside. I don't know how to explain it.
Yeah, I mean, the only thing that could have done it when I saw it would be if there was a light in the floor that was like shining on the ceiling, because it just lit up on like one of the panels and just went straight across the panels. And
So it's different types of light anomalies.
Yeah.
It's an odd thing. And you guys, they were talking about him clearing his throat. We heard like throat clearing, almost like growling, moaning, a bunch in the long upstairs attic room.
I heard those as soon as we practically got there. When we were setting up,
Yeah. I remember you
I
were.
could hear them in that area.
Lisa has really good hearing, selective hearing, but good hearing.
and Lisa.
The whole night she was like, you could. And at first I was like, I can't hear anything. But it wasn't until other people started saying, "Did you hear that voice? Did you hear this?" And then I actually did a couple of times.
Well, upstairs, what the heck was that?
Weird.
One of the trade-
But yeah, and then-
upstairs, I can't hear. I'm really bad here.
No.
I got a deaf ear, and the other one's not great. I was hearing that upstairs. Not just that, walking too, like boots on the hard floor.
yeah.
Especially when you were on the spirit box.
Well, remember when we were? Same thing when we were all in the main, the roller rink room. We're all kind of taking that break in there, and someone just. When we were in the hallway, you could hear them. It wasn't like.
Oh, walking around upstairs.
Occasionally, you hear footsteps, you hear it for a couple seconds, and then it stops. It was like 15, 20 seconds nonstop, just.
Yeah,
going
and
right
we're
back and
all
forth.
downstairs.
And
Yeah,
we should know
every
too,
single one
on
of us
multiple
was
occasions,
downstairs.
the rip pods in the big room were going off, and upstairs.
Yeah, you were saying we heard a woman.
We heard like a high pitched type woman when we were in that main
Just making a
cafeteria. It was on the far
sound.
end where like
Yeah.
the chairs were stacked up in that little
Yeah,
storage area.
Like when a kid tries to make a siren sound.
Yeah,
It
it
didn't
was-
sound like a kid. Like it was definitely an adult, but
Yeah.
like if an adult woman like made that sound.
And it
Right.
wasn't like an electronic noise
No.
or anything
Go ahead,
like that.
Chris,
It
make
was
the
like,
noise.
I don't know, maybe it sounded kind of like Shane's noise.
Just a little screech, don't do it.
No, it wasn't like that, but it was like a. I can't
Sorry
even-
for you
I don't even
headphone
know if I'd be able
listeners.
to reproduce
It's like
it.
when somebody's trying to like, oh, I heard a siren,
Yeah.
imitating like
Yeah.
a siren-y
Yeah.
type
Yeah.
sound.
Yeah.
But definitely.
Like a woo or something,
Yeah,
but it was like
sound like a
higher
kid.
pitched
A
than
lot
that.
of oddball stuff like
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
Doesn't make sense.
Um,
Oh, I also saw something walk through the backyard.
Oh, we
The
were
back
there.
windows
Oh,
you
it
were
was
saying,
when we
yeah,
were.
yeah.
He saw something come between us, like our reflections on the door.
Oh,
it was when we were looking
no,
out
that
the door.
Yeah,
That was
well,
the one
twice I
time.
saw stuff. No, when
And then
you and
other-
Lisa were doing your thing,
was
I
outside
was
the
looking
windows
at
and
it
the-
through the kitchen.
Okay.
Like I saw somebody walk through the backyard, so I went running in there. But yeah, no, Chrissy and I were standing like this, talking to each other, and I glanced at the front door glass, and I could see somebody. At first, I
just
thought it
kinda
was
like-
like our reflection, but no, they're just standing still.
I thought you said they.
And that's
came
out front.
No,
behind us.
they were standing between our reflections, but in the driveway.
Yeah, I was.
When that guy upstairs in the spirit box said, look at me, in the working glass, well, and then he started saying window, I looked out and there was a guy walking up the driveway to the place.
Yes.
Walking towards the highway.
Yeah.
I think Tom actually saw him too. when
And
were
we
talking
looked out
stuff.
there, we couldn't find footsteps.
Me and you went out there.
Yeah.
It snowed
It-
that day.
yeah.
There was
no.
there
And it
was
bitterly
a
cold.
there was
Yeah.
a track, but it didn't go anywhere near to the road. It was just by the door, which obviously wasn't the guy because
It was
you
one
guys
of
saw
us.
him on the road.
And there's nothing behind that building. There was nothing for him to be walking from.
no.
Well, there's
No, or
the
two.
houses, but why would they be?
No, he was
walking up?
coming like from behind the lines.
Right,
towards
and
the
last,
road.
just to make
Yeah.
sure, he went over to that road that goes to that part,
Yeah,
and
no
there was
tracks
no
coming
new
out.
track.
Yeah.
No, and it was fresh, light snow. Like
Yeah.
it was very
Yeah.
obvious where we had all walked.
Can we get to the spirit box upstairs? Because
Yeah.
that is blowing my mind.
I think we wanted to get. Are there any little things?
Well,
before
so
we
yeah,
talk
any more
about,
little
just
things
to
we
get
wanna
the
talk about?
other things, and then
We did have a lot of cat watching in lots of different places. Notably, in the bar thing, I saw it going off.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was just by accident. I was walking by the room, and it was flashing.
Grid tracker went
The-
off several times.
Into the long dining room, in that other room, saw a cat ball going off over there. We had some go off in the dining room. Several of them in the big room in the second floor. And what else?
Tell them about the air in the wall, which
Oh,
might
this
not
was
even be
really-
supernatural. It's
it
just
might
weird.
not. It was just weird. There's
Air
this.
in the
There's this. Okay. There's the one. Okay, when you go down the bathroom with the hallway with the bathroom, there's one wall here. Or one doorway here with the one like storage area
Yeah.
or whatever.
Had
and then
like a
there-
refrigerator
Then you
in
could
there,
go
yeah.
around the other way, and there was something on the other side of the wall. Now, when you went to the one side over here and you put your ear to the wall, you could hear wind blowing through the
Blowing
wall.
through the wall.
But
it's
if
not
you
an
went to the-
exterior wall. It's a wall in the middle of the
And
building.
you could say that it's just like coming from like a.
Well, we know the foundation.
But we went to the other side.
So
We
it's
went to
not
the
coming
other
from
side of that wall, and you put your ear, and you don't hear the wind.
don't hear
Just
it from the
one
wall.
side.
It was just
you
gonna
could
say,
hear
what
the
made you
wall.
decide-
I could hear it. 'cause
You
I
could hear it,
I'm
and then
pretty
I
good
put my
hearing.
ear,
I
and
was
I'm like, wait a
back in that
second,
room
that's
by
why.
myself, and I was like,
Yeah.
The bath,
Like,
the one
why
in
am I
front of the
hearing-
bathroom, or
in front of the men's room,
Okay,
on the other side.
Right.
I mean, it could have just been.
leave it.
Of the men's room.
It could have just been like like a.
But
I
yeah,
don't
I
know.
was in there just by myself, and I was like, oh, it must be getting windy outside.
But it
and I was
wasn't really
like,
that
wait,
windy out.
if that's the wrong wall.
Yeah.
This is the
It's
exterior wall.
interior wall.
Yeah.
But it is on the other side. Is the little kitchen /
Yeah,
bar
but when you
area.
went into the bar, you couldn't hear it.
Mm.
You could only hear it from the storage room.
I would have took the parabolic and kind of
Yeah,
shot
that's
see if I
what-
can
Oh, we
trace it.
should-
But that
Should've
could be
done that.
explained as a vacuum for the plumbing or something like
Maybe.
Yeah,
that.
that's
It's
what I
just-
was
but
thinking.
when you
it
hear
could-
it
was
from
just,
the-
yeah.
From both
That's what I'm
sides.
saying. Maybe. Yeah.
Because if you put your
I didn't say it
ear,
made sense. I
we,
said, I'm just
we
saying
did
it
it
could
at
be
the
a
same
possibility.
time.
Yeah, I
One
went
of
to
us
the
was in
other
the bar
side,
room,
yeah.
and the wall's only this wide.
Right.
And one of us had our ear on the
Wait a
bar
minute.
side. One of them had our ear on the other side. One could hear it, the other one couldn't.
So you, Chrissy, were
Well,
ear to ear.
I'm
So
thinking-
cute.
Yeah,
That,
between a
Do you
wall,
think
so
it's-
there's no actual
so you-
contact.
Yeah.
I mean, I could just be. But what if that furnace that was on the second floor? Those pipes.
That's
Don't
what
they
I was
run
thinking.
by that-
But
into that
wouldn't
wall?
you hear it in both rooms?
You would
It
think.
must-
That
one
was just
side's
a
But one
weird-
side could be
more
sitting
insulated.
closer.
If
Yeah.
one side's
No, it's just-
insulated, the
it
other
could
one's
have been
not.
something
Who knows what
simple. It was just
but
interesting.
But it actually, it legitimately sounded like wind. Like,
That is strange.
It could
blowing
be
wind,
the vent
but-
for the plumbing. I mean, it's a possibility.
it's a
Yeah.
possibility. It just was bizarre.
Yeah.
All right.
And-
Any last minute things before we get to the spirit box?
Well, there's still a lot of.
Oh,
Well, we're already at
We'll
45
make the
minutes.
connection.
They're
actually,
gonna do
Zach
the
saw the
spirit
light
box.
too. The light moving.
And they were. I know Zach was like knocking on the wall too, and like they were
Oh,
hearing
was
like
he
the
getting
knocking.
responses?
I was getting
They were
responses
getting into it a
too,
little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
but like
But
They didn't. I think they didn't want to be intrusive. They mostly just seemed to watch.
Well, it was
They were
their,
just
They had a heck of
curious.
a time.
it was
Yeah.
their first investigation,
Yeah.
so I think like if they come again, they'd be more in, like.
No, because I even talked to
You're
Zach
with
too.
the new
because
environment.
when-
You want to make sure
Yeah.
you stay back a little bit and see
They
how
wanted
things
to learn
go
our
and-
process
Right,
and to see
right.
how we do things.
Well, like I said, that's how I was telling Zach when he first came upstairs, like when we first started. He was like, I was like, I get it. You're gonna be. It's kind of embarrassing. You don't know what questions to ask.
Yeah.
You don't want to. I get it, right? And
He
I
did
was
a
like,
good job of asking questions when you were
Yeah,
in the spirit box.
yeah,
I encouraged him to.
Yeah.
To talk, and they,
he got into
he
it
was
pretty good.
asking
He
some
seemed to like
intelligent,
it, so
specific questions.
thank you for picking up our
Yeah,
time.
he was like, do we do our own investigation or can we like join in on yours? And I'm like, by all means, you
Like,
know,
you're
like we
here
like
with
to
us,
be, you know,
you
if
know?
you wanna. So
Yeah.
they said that they had a really good time and
Well, good.
so.
I'm glad to hear that. Lisa and I were talking about it. They seemed like they enjoyed themselves pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
And was it Zach you said?
Yes.
He came with more of a skeptical, and I like that.
Which sometimes works
I mean,
out.
we're all believers, but we're skeptical believers. Especially Lance and I are a little more skeptical probably than a lot. But we believe, and so when you can't, anybody new, you can't just assume everything's paranormal. We always kind of try to figure that out. And then whatever we may have left may be proof of the paranormal.
Well,
I thought they did pretty
Yeah,
well.
Zach is very analytical. I think Jackie is more, and just culturally, I didn't know she was Cuban. Like she just grew up, in a similar kind of but I think Zach is much more analytical. Well, he's a programmer, right?
Yeah.
Well, he does some.
Yeah, like he's much more analytical minded, and he seemed to really,
Get into it.
Yeah, it's neat having like the different points of views.
Like I knew Jackie would enjoy it.
It's an important, I think.
But it's cool. He seemed to too.
I agree with Hunter. He needs to get into what he had in the spirit session because we're running
Yeah.
Yeah, we're
way
We can go as long as we
in
want.
45
time.
minutes in. Yeah, so like we were saying, we had a spirit box session upstairs in the other side of the attic, second floor, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah, we should say too, but initially it was just me, you, and Lisa.
No, Lisa wasn't up there the first time. It was me and you, and then Tom came up.
Yeah, Lisa was
And
downstairs
then-
with us.
Oh, you're talking about the big side.
On the big side,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Okay.
So we got something there. Obviously, gave off a -5 to whatever else was there with us.
Well, the spirits over and over and over
And-
said, "Help me, help me."
Apparently,
save
our,
us."
our washer and dryer are done.
That's a
one of the two,
dishwasher.
or dishwasher.
Dishwasher.
Sorry,
Sorry.
guys.
We have like 15 appliances that make
Yeah.
noise.
So we'll fast forward later on in the night. We decided there was this little, I don't know, 8 by 10 room off of the staircase. It was kind of really, really old room, tiny to get
That
to.
stuff in there, too.
We decided to do a spirit box session there. It was me, Dad, and Lisa. And obviously, I was doing the spirit box. I actually have all these videos if you want to see the whole thing. It's
They're on all our
Immaculate.
platforms except for
crazy.
a couple.
Dad and Lisa, I started asking me questions. I don't know what you guys asked, but
Zach and Jackie were up there too.
No, that was
the second
was
time.
later. That was the second one.
Yeah, the first time.
Oh, you're talking the first.
The first time it was just me, Lisa, and we found out that I can't remember whose phone it was, but they could get.
Mine.
We
We-
had issues
No,
trying
I
to
did
connect.
Facebook Live.
Yeah.
Yeah, we started doing
Yeah.
Facebook Live, which we had the best interactive Facebook Live we ever
I
had.
remember that's why we did the spirit box up there. So the ones I didn't have any service there. None of us really did. Lisa got a couple bars where she didn't go live, but like I found this one little section in this back room that I had 5G on, and I could actually go live on TikTok, so we stayed there. Yeah. Anyway, so like I'm on there, Dad and them were asking questions, and Lance came up. And
Yeah,
you would
no.
know.
See, when I came up, Zach and Jackie were up there.
No, that was the second time.
That was the
Zach-
second
Zach-
time.
First
no,
look at the
they weren't up
videos.
there. Look at the video.
They came on the second one, and they were sitting there with me.
Look at the
first time.
40-minute
it was
video
just
I
me,
posted.
him, and
Well,
Lisa.
well, then I was talking to a man that sounded because I didn't come in the room. I stayed
You were
on the
talking to me?
stairs.
You were
No,
I was
somebody
kind
was
of
in the
moderating.
hallway with me.
I was kind of moderating. the whole
No,
thing.
the second time.
The first time.
The second
Okay.
time you were in that hallway with Dad, Zach, and Jackie.
Yeah.
Well, Jackie was still technically in the room. Zach was in the hallway with you.
Yeah.
The first time you were not though. The first time
No,
you
the
had
first
just
time
come
was us
upstairs.
four,
Yeah.
until Chrissy came up a little bit.
Look, yeah, and you can do. You're not talking to anybody until Chrissy comes up the stairs in the first video. It's on YouTube. Check it out.
So Lisa and I were talking. Hunter was giving us some, and we started initially talking to this Sam before Lance got up there. few minutes after that, Lance did
How'd
come
you
up.
find out his name was Sam again?
Lance asked him.
Yeah, after this
He was telling us some about that he's been there. I forget what he was saying. Something about brother. But we didn't get too far into it, right? And he had a couple girls coming in too in the initial part. When we were talking to the Sand Kid, Lance had walked up the steps, and I said something like, "That's my brother back there," and he says hello. And this thing seemed to
it lit up
like
for Lance.
bond
He just really liked
with
it.
Lance.
Yeah.
I kind of got bumped out of it because he was really talking
Yeah.
to Lance. Now Lance was, we should note for you guys, down the hallway, it's completely black.
You can see in the video.
Hunter is facing this way, Lance is back here behind him down the hallway.
Yeah.
So it wasn't like
I
Hunter
couldn't
could
even
see
see
or hear him,
No.
he had the
No.
You can see I clearly have the headphones
As I was-
because I'm bad at hearing. I push them on my ear, so there's no chance.
As I was
that
coming up the stairs, you said he's coming up.
Oh yeah, it told me
Oh, yeah.
Lance was coming up, that's
Yeah.
right, I
Yeah.
forgot about that.
And then
And
then it says,
and then
hi.
who's coming up? And I hear Lance.
No, well, I asked
think it
it.
was.
No, I came up and it said hello, hey,
Yeah.
and I was like, hey, you know, and that's because I like to ask questions that, because something to try to eliminate the radio thing, something that wouldn't possibly make sense at that time,
Right.
or you know. So it said, hey, and I was like, do you know me? And it was like, kind of.
There's like
something like that. Yeah.
something like that.
And I
Yeah.
s so then that's when I said, then what's my name?
And I hear Lance.
Yeah.
And you were
He
like,
says it. This guy was
Says it.
responding to you
As
very
if we were just
clearly,
having a conversation.
specifically.
yeah, based on what we got too. I
And
just
Hunter didn't even know I was upstairs at that
No,
time.
I didn't almost an entire time
Yeah.
until I hear you say it at the end. But what we picked up just for, we got this guy named Sam that he was
Yeah,
a 17-year-old guy.
Well, I said, what's your name then? And you said Sam.
Oh, yeah. 17, liked the rollerblade.
Yeah.
So we kind of figured he's probably about the same age as Lance.
And-
perhaps.
He said
Oh,
in the
yeah.
90s, and I said, oh, if you were in the 90s, what was your favorite TV show?
And I heard
Saved
something,
by the
the bell.
Yeah.
And then we're like, you started asking
Lance
questions
said,
about the
Saved
show.
by the Bell?
Yeah.
And you were like, yeah.
Yep.
Oh,
Oh, that is on video, by the way. It's,
Yeah, it's on
Yeah, you told
YouTube.
him that I think Zach Morris is it.
Yeah, I said, yeah, well, Chrissy thinks Zach Morris is a jerk, and you go, he is.
Yeah.
And then I said, man, my first crush was Kelly Kapowski, and you hear, same.
Same, yeah. I think that was all of ours.
Yeah, it was
And I made something about, what was the dirty guy on that show?
Screech.
Screech. And he responded, you didn't like him or something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, it was a pretty. I don't want to give all the details because I want you guys to go watch the video
No,
for yourself.
I mean,
but-
it was so quick and immediate and exact responses that I wasn't in the room, so I actually asked if you guys were like messing with me.
like, does he have the headphones on?
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, he does, and he's got his hands over it.
Yeah, it was so specific that you did ask.
We've had
You sure
yeah.
he can't hear me? You said-
We've had a couple in the past that were pretty specific, but it wasn't to where we like asked and we got a answer every single time we asked a
Yeah.
question.
And this
And I
first
usually don't get a lot of.
this first box section
Activity.
Talking
was
to
at
me.
least 25 minutes long.
Mhm.
He did not seem to poop out like a lot of
It wore me out though.
And
That was-
anytime, somebody got something a little off, then I would say, no,
Yeah.
he's talking about this. And then you got right back on track.
Yeah.
I think it helped him focus his energy.
Yeah.
It made a big difference.
Yeah.
Would not get 15 different questions,
Right, getting questions from one guy
Yeah.
and answering
It-
back.
Like when I said it wore me out, it really did. Like we were going at this thing. What the video is 34 minutes long.
And it's funny because when you started saying you were getting tired, he was saying the same.
Yeah, so I wonder if it was, obviously it was drawing off of me as well. But it was a really fantastic Spirit Box session. You guys
Well,
really
we
do need to
should
check that out.
Tell what happened.
Tell him
It went kind of dark.
About
Well, that was
It
the second
dying.
time, I think.
No,
that was the end of the first one.
First one.
He's like, man, or
the
downstairs or
second
something
one
like that.
named
and
brother.
Yeah.
The first one talked about his brother, but he didn't.
We didn't know it was his
Name.
brother. We didn't get a name either.
The
We just
second
knew
time
there
he
was a
died.
younger boy there, and then his
But-
uncle we did find out about.
He said something about brother.
That was the second time. I went back and
The
watched the
second
video.
time he said the brother and
And
his
his name is
name.
Maxwell.
Yeah.
And he sat with
And
Chrissy and the little
that's the
baby
second
girl.
Spirit Box
Yeah,
session.
that's the
We
second.
wanna talk
Actually,
about
I
that.
will post that one too. I haven't posted it yet, but
Do you want me to talk about that now, or when we talk about that?
We can go for it now. Well, let me say the uncle part first, because I kind of forgot about that.
The uncle part was in the first.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we got that he was injured. I don't remember what you guys asked exactly.
And by the way, during this conversation, the uncle, the older man's voice, he would say, was coming through sometimes. Sometimes he would respond to Lance's question for Sam.
Yeah.
And then Sam would kind of cut it. No,
Yeah,
no,
Sam
no,
like,
no.
be quiet.
Yeah,
Kind
I remember Lance asked, well, are you guys family? Talk about the older man and, him. And the uncle, before Sam can answer, says yes. And Sam goes, no, or something like that.
He said
And-
no emphatically.
Yeah. And then the uncle, I think it was that same part, said yes again, like it was.
And he did say he was uncle.
Yeah. So we found out that obviously they're related.
Somehow, maybe even through
Marriage.
Yeah,
we
no,
don't know.
just
It's an uncle-nephew
My uncle.
relationship.
Yeah.
The reason he...
Well, no, the uncle said uncle. I didn't. Sam's voice didn't say uncle.
No, it was the uncle saying.
Yeah.
And but Sam didn't disagree with that.
And we'll tell you why.
Yeah, tell him
So, I don't remember the exact details. Also, even if I did, I wouldn't say. I want you guys to watch the video. But
why.
we found out that
We asked Sam what happened to you, and he said
stab.
stab.
Yeah, stab. And then we said how, and you said I heard uncle or
Who?
something like that.
My uncle. Yeah.
And so his uncle, and then we found out later on,
Which
unfortunately.
makes sense why he said he's not family.
Yeah, we found
If
out.
somebody stabs you, you're going to say,
Yeah, you're
not
cut
family.
off. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't think we got an age, but we did find out in the second Spirit Box session after that he has that the little boy we were hearing is his little brother Maxwell.
And Chrissy went in the hole with
Unfortunately,
Maxwell.
yeah.
And I think we did get
well, the
second
uncle-
one, something about Gordon.
the
or
uncle
something
did the
that might have
same
been
thing.
Gordon was the uncle's name.
Uncle
Yeah,
did the same thing. Corbinbach was her last name.
Yep.
Corbinbach. Yeah, that's not a very
Corbinbach.
popular name.
And for
he
that
said
to
it
come
multiple
through
times.
was weird. But yeah, the uncle did the same thing to the little brother that he did to Sam, and I think
So was
we
Sam-
figured out that he offed himself.
And then the
as well.
first one too. Lance says, "Where are you from? Are you from here?" He's no.
Oh.
Said he was from Texas.
Oh yeah, you
Yeah.
should know Texas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there was.
And that he's by your question.
Visiting family.
He
was
said he
visiting
came to
family.
visit family here in Bradford. Never went home.
Mhm.
And
They
so we started looking up on our phones disappearances and deaths. Then he responds that,
It was never reported.
it was never reported.
What if the uncle's last name is not the same, and the uncle lived here? Maybe that's why we couldn't find anything about it.
Yeah, it could be. And
The uncle, they
we
came
were
up
looking
here.
at those first names, and I did go back and look at some death records, but Texas.
We didn't get a
Yeah,
first
it's
name for
harder
the
to
uncle
get
though, and we don't know if the uncle had the same last name.
he
Plus,
might have not had this.
if
Probably
say
did.
maybe the uncle was the one that lived up
Maybe
here,
he
they
did.
came up here to visit
Yeah.
him, and then
Yeah.
I don't know if
that's
it's
when
on
it
mom and
happened.
dad's side, so we could
Yeah.
last name. We did look at the last name of the boys. Though.
Yeah, but we couldn't find it.
But
No, but
Texas is a
in
huge
Texas-
state. You can't find a death
I
certificate
did
for two
find
random
a
people in the whole
Gorbenbach.
state.
something like
Corbin?
that. Corbin, not Corbin. Corbinbach.
Maybe that's what it was.
That was a name, but nothing about kids missing. But
Yeah.
that was a family name,
Was
and
it-
I think it was a hospital or
Oh,
something.
okay. Is it maybe? I mean, it could be Gorbin, but
Who knows?
Yeah.
But he did, he was Corbin Bach. Corbin,
Yeah,
I mean, he was very
very
specific,
specific
about that.
name.
And the truth is, we still got to do more research
Yeah.
on it.
So when we came back up the second time, which one of you two got in the hole first? in
He
the
was
crawl
in
space?
Dad was in it first.
I got
You want to talk about what you experienced in the crawl space?
Yeah. Now, Chrissy could hear better than I could in here because she has good hearing.
And this
And-
is just to note before you start talking, I wasn't upstairs when he was in there, so I don't know what he experienced.
Right.
So like if we experienced similar things, like
In this little tiny room we were talking about before, there's a little trap door that goes into this crawl space, into more little attic space, very narrow. So I sit there, I'm sitting like this, facing, the door is already here, so my dead ear's on that side. Now, every now and then I could hear, "Boo," you guys talking, but I couldn't really get a lot out of it. So I'm sitting there, at first, I have a millimeter and a cat ball in here with me. The millimeter has a little lit up back, like orange screen, at least it looks orange to me, it probably isn't.
No, it's orange.
And I see a little shadow go across my millimeter. So I turn my cat ball on, and I start responding. And my millimeter now is having constant readings all the way up to like 40 something, which is really high. And I did do the little thing around beforehand, before I even set that thing down, to show that even though there's an electric wire coming through here, it was well insulated, wasn't setting off nothing. So I asked it to set off the cat ball. Starts flashing. Between the first and second flash, because I got to do it again on command, I felt something touch my back side a little bit, my upper buttocks, lower back, but not in a mean way. And then push after
Just
that.
the little.
Yes, like a nudge, like a kid would.
Yeah.
Now I relate it to a kid because of what happened with Chrissy. I did see like a shadow at the end of this long little hallway, and I crawled down there on my knees, and it turns out there's another little whole section in there I didn't even realize was there, but I couldn't get anything else. And I came back and I sat down. The mail meter still was reading consistently, and it wasn't when I first went in there. But I couldn't get anything else to happen, and eventually I started cramping up for the tight space and left.
And then you.
And then I went in, and like I didn't get any spirit ball action, but the Mel meter was still in there, and like I was getting like spikes on that, like just random, you know, it would go up higher.
Right.
And then I felt like the same thing you did, with like something touched my back. And I believe, was it that I said, like, was it you that touched my back, or somebody, did you ask, like, was that you,
it was
Maxwell, or something?
yeah.
And
Yeah,
Hunter said
yeah.
it was me or something along those
me, yeah.
lines. So
So you kind of said it out loud when you were in there that something.
Well, she
Yeah, I was kind of like, I
asked
was,
us.
and then I closed my eyes and I reached my hand behind me and I'm like, Maxwell, if you're in here, could you touch my hand? I'm gonna start getting goosebumps. Anyways, but I got this little tiny, like you could feel these little finger, like a little, and just
Right.
like touch my hand, like something was like kind of like holding my hand for a second and just brushed along my
Right.
fingers.
And by the way, when I first did it was still the second one.
So
that he
Maxwell
on.
was hiding
I didn't
in that
know
place.
necessarily about
He was
Maxwell,
hiding
little
from
brother
that
or anything like
dark
that.
in that little
Man.
You
place.
guys were talking about that apparently at the
Uncle.
same time I was in there, but I didn't realize.
I think we were talking about it when Chrissy was in there, because I don't think I came up when Shane was in the hole.
But something about when Chrissy was
But
in there
he
too. Didn't he say he was
whispered-
hiding in there or something?
He whispered
Sam
something
said
and
he
I
was
can't.
hiding.
Oh.
He did whisper. I can't remember what he whispered, but he also, like, I heard him whispering to me as well.
Yeah.
Those were the main things that I felt in there. There was some, like, yeah.
You
Yeah.
probably should know too. In that first one, Sam said that he said it wasn't the uncle, by the way. Like,
No, there's something downstairs.
He
that
said there was
afraid
something
of.
downstairs that was holding them. I saw it again.
Not
on the video.
holding them.
Not holding him.
No,
He
it
said he's
just-
afraid
there
of
was
it.
something
Keeping them
afraid
there.
of.
Keeping them there.
In that room specifically, though.
Oh, maybe in the room.
Sorry with all the noises. People weren't prepared.
Turn it off.
Yeah, no, it's.
Yeah, I didn't think he was saying he was stuck there. I think
he was
we were
physically
asking why
staying
he
in that
was
room.
in the room and why Max was hiding in the crawl space.
Well, we asked
he
him,
was
though,
afraid.
why are you still here? Because you started offering ways to probably help you move on,
Oh.
right?
And he was-
remember
yeah.
you said it native way, and
Yeah.
he was like,
I don't know.
I don't know because he was. I mean, he's never heard anybody
didn't
offer
know.
tobacco
Yeah.
and all that stuff. He's probably a young white kid.
Yeah.
But then that's when that other part. I'll show you the thing.
Yeah.
later,
I'll have to watch that.
he said that guy downstairs was the one.
Yeah, it was the most interactive I've ever gotten things to respond to me.
It was really.
Lance
cool.
doesn't
Hit
get a whole
anything,
lot of
anywhere
activity,
with-
to be honest. But this investigation, it was like
Yeah.
really centered on him for a
Yeah.
lot of the parts.
Yeah, like even the answering of the knocking. Lance got more answers than anybody
at
else.
first, yeah. I didn't know you guys tried
I was
it later.
getting
Glad you guys
a lot
got
of
some,
knocks
yeah.
too when I was.
I think Lisa said that she got some too, and
Yeah.
Tom did mention also.
Yeah.
And I think
Tom got some.
Chrissy's friend said that they did too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I believe
Yes.
Zach was
Zach
there
was
with us
knocking,
and he
yeah.
was knocking
Yes.
as well.
I mean, there's more.
Yeah, actually, for a place that
And over now.
honestly I didn't think we were gonna get much.
And it's not the biggest building. I
You
figured
know.
we'd be all.
Well, I live right down the street and I hadn't heard any stories, and usually you hear things like that, so I was like,
Yeah.
and I didn't doubt that. I know you said they saw the, groundskeepers and stuff, but I was like, okay, well, maybe
George
we'll get a
and
little
Bud.
bit from them.
Yeah,
But then,
yeah. Well, and I also thought maybe it was just a personal connection. when the groundskeeper said he saw the other, like that's a personal, like
Yeah.
maybe they're not even attached to the building, they just
Yeah.
came to see him.
But also, we found that places where there's like a water source, like a well or like a stream or something right by, and right out
It
back
tends to
is
be-
like the Tunagawant Creek. So like some of them could have been like pulling
and we've
drainage
seen
from
too,
there.
like when you're around a water source, that seems to help
Mm-hmm.
with the
Energy.
There's been
The energy
several like
the water
houses.
generates.
Several of the
stuff like
houses
that.
we've been in that have had a lot of activity have a well in the house or
Yeah.
nearby the
Yeah.
house.
Yeah.
or on sandstone.
Yeah.
You know, stuff
Something
like that.
like that.
There are other types of, you know.
Didn't we
things,
also
ways
get
to
a
gain-
Silas with the caretakers?
I said no.
Cyrus?
Remember, I thought that's what Kim told me. We kept asking for Silas, and we never could get him. And then later, I told Kim, I said, "Man, we got George and Bud a lot, especially in the beginning. We couldn't get Silas." He goes, "There's no Silas." I'm
Oh.
like, "Well,
Originally, you told us stylus, and we're like,
Stylus, I
there's
thought you
that
were
thing
saying-
that's
or
what you
Silas.
used to like write on like an
Stylus, yeah.
iPad with.
but no, I just misunderstood.
Oh.
You know."
Yeah.
So it was good that we didn't get it because I was like, "Man, we couldn't get the other one. Sorry." But he's like, "There was no other one."
Oh, good.
Pretty good one, yeah. We'll start. We even got more to say, but we'll save it for some of our other.
I think I left my notes in the car
She
about
made
this
a
investigation.
notebook
Remember,
with
I
all
made
the
notes.
details.
Yeah, they're in the-
Oh yeah,
Dropbox.
Mom did make notes, and I liked it.
They're in the car.
I mean, we have plenty to
Yeah, I
to
think we
discuss,
did
and we'll
good.
throw in more like when we do some more question answer podcasts. and
I
stuff
just
like
remembered
that.
one little thing too. Lisa was feeling really cold on her legs out by
I
in that
forgot
main
about that.
room, and she was feeling like super cold. So like I went and sat in the same spot as her, and I felt like it was like ice cold on
Just
my legs.
on your legs.
Yeah.
And it's like I got the temperature, like the one meter we have with the
millimeter
temperature
with the
reading.
temperature,
I
yeah.
put it on my lap to see if it was any different. Because I mean the window's right there, maybe a draft, even though we
You never
didn't
know.
feel one. Temperature was the same, you know, but you felt cold. Like it was just
Like
like
something
this
was
chill.
sucking that in.
Yeah,
Probably.
yeah.
And you guys were getting activity at those
Right,
times,
yeah.
so it makes sense.
And Jackie was sitting there with the EMF reader, and it was going off like. It
Yeah,
was
I
like
saw it a few
redlining,
times when I
like,
was
the whole
in
time
there.
when she was sitting
The-
there, so
lot
it
of-
seemed to be like right there.
A lot of
when
K2 and EMF.
Well,
Yeah.
when she was
action.
trying to use
Yeah.
the spirit box, and she couldn't hear much, but the EMF was like maxing out.
Yeah, it was just
Really?
well, all of
Yeah.
ours were kind of
Yeah.
like just going nuts in that area.
Almost, yeah, a lot of equipment activity there, but a lot of personal feelings and interactions and things we're seeing and hearing
Mhm.
that, you know, and I can't wait to review
Well,
review
and
all
it's-
those tapes. I
It's
can't
neat
wait.
when like I didn't hear your experience in there and you didn't hear mine. You went in first, and like I experienced some of the same things as you. It's neat
Yeah,
to have
and I
that
like that because
happen.
it, you know,
Yeah.
Yeah.
it gives it more.
Confirms.
Yeah, this is actually
This
for
is the first time I
viewers, this is
heard
the
his
first time we've
experience.
talked about it.
Yeah.
Between
So,
among
yeah,
ourselves.
yeah.
Right,
Because a
you
lot
come
of
home
times,
late
like
at
we'll
night
be
and-
split
yeah.
up. You're packing stuff at 2-3 in the morning. You're putting it away, and you don't really have enough time to.
Well, not to mention
chat.
this room where they're talking about was a very small room, so there's not only a handful, a couple people at a
Yeah.
time
Yeah.
that can really fit. So
Until we were packing up, I actually never went in there.
really,
Oh yeah, you were
Yeah, I was
looking
in the
for the
hallway the
one
whole
meter.
Like that when we packed up, when we were looking for the meters, the first time I actually went in the room that everything was going on in.
I
'cause
want
it
to
was
say
so
too, I
crowded.
forgot something. Hunter and I were having this great cat ball interaction and spirit box stuff going on,
Mhm.
right? I went downstairs to get something. I don't even remember what it was, and I couldn't see crap. I didn't have a light on me.
Yeah.
Didn't have my phone with me. I left it in there
Oh,
with
that's
him.
right.
So I'm like, and I say out loud, I can't see the stairs. It's too dark. So I'm sitting there inching along, and all of a sudden behind me, this bright light that lights up the whole staircase. I thought it was him
Wow.
coming out of the other side of the attic and gave
With
me
the
light from his
flashlight,
phone.
yeah.
So I asked him later, and he's like, "No, but I saw this light light up."
I want to point out too,
Now
he didn't
that
even notice
is
this at
something.
first. We were going down the stairs later on when he was actually telling me about this. There's an old light fixture with a dead, broken bulb in there right above his head where that would have been.
Yeah.
I checked it, it did not
It doesn't
work.
come on.
Oh, that
yeah.
was the one I
So
kept pulling.
we
that
were
would-
thinking that maybe somehow something made this light
And
light up.
It's weird because I thought it was Hunter, and I said, "Oh, thank you. That's much better," or something like
I
that.
think we asked,
Didn't
and
even know it
Sam
wasn't him.
took credit for it.
Oh yeah,
I think we
makes
asked
sense.
during one of the spirit box questions, like,
Oh,
"Oh,
Sam
did you
did?
light that up for Shane?" And he's like, "Yeah."
Yeah, it
Oh,
just
that's
Well, I was appreciative because
Well,
I was 2
that's-
feet away from where I thought was a staircase. the stairs.
Yeah, you would have taken the
I was going
false
to take
step
the
and
nosedive
then
right down
dive,
those
yeah.
stairs.
That is an incredible manifestation.
That is
though.
really cool.
Yeah.
I didn't even notice
A
the
dead
light was there.
light
by the
turn
way.
on because
I
you
thought it was
said I
his
need
phone.
a light.
I thought literally he put his phone up, came all the way across, because I said, and I'm 8 inches, so he had time to get over there, right?
Yeah.
And I thought he just went like this over the back of my head.
Yeah. So.
No. That was apparently sad.
That's amazing.
Yeah, I've never seen that before ever. I wish I'd have known at the time that it was something paranormal and not my son doing it.
Yeah.
But
Do we have a? I don't think we even have a camera right there.
We have.
oh no,
one
we have
in
the one back
room,
Oh
but
no,
it's-
they're both facing this
Yeah,
way.
they're both facing the other way.
No. One's facing that doorway. It won't directly get the light,
Well,
but
we
you'll
might-
see the light come on if it's
Well,
there.
we might be able to see the light come on.
You won't
Oh.
directly see you, but it'll
Yeah.
definitely reflect
Yeah,
off.
we
of
got-
it.
We'd be able to
Yeah,
hear
that'd
it.
be cool because so here's the door, the camera's here.
Yeah.
We might be able to see it light up here.
Yeah.
Because if we can light up the whole staircase from behind me,
Yeah.
it should be able to it'll show some light through the door.
Nice.
Yeah, I gotta look.
That was
Yeah.
a pretty good episode.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like
Have any other questions? I know Real One Player said something. What'd you say?
No, we just were kind of Emily and them were saying, we had a couple of people donate and stuff like that. Someone asked where
Appreciate
the
that,
Slides
by the
Club
way.
was at. Emily said, "Girl saying I'm watching, everyone's here, creepy." Emily, yeah, it was just
Just general.
yeah.
So we already have some videos up from this investigation and all of our other ones. You can check us out on TikTok, YouTube, and Facebook. You
TikTok. Click the link in our bio.
Yep. Yeah, you can go to SpiritHunters.group and you'll find links to all of our social media things and to
Lisa's
Bill and our
journal.
partnership.
Her
we also have
website.
Twitter
Yeah.
and Snapchat. A couple Snapchats.
That one player hi because he always
Yeah.
comes on here.
We appreciate you.
Lisa has ghostlychronicles.com where she has her blog up about her some of our investigations and some of the stuff back when you were a demon child, right?
Demon child.
Yeah.
I think
Always
let's put
that
some of
demon
our
child.
do stuff on here.
No,
That's
I
cool.
haven't.
Oh, you haven't?
No.
No, mostly it's about our childhood
Oh,
stuff.
okay.
Yeah,
no, but
you
I
still
want
need
to
to
start
read it.
one. I want to start another blog, and put down our personal experiences for each place that we've been
Yeah.
to. I want to
Yeah,
do something
some
like
of the
that.
cool stuff
Yeah.
that happened. Yeah, we could do that.
Give the viewers another little something
Add on
to
it.
kind of look at it, get a more
That's
in-depth
good, yeah.
perspective.
Okay, I have a question for the viewers. That one person and that one player, is it the same person?
No,
Mom and son.
That's
That's
my friend and her son.
Oh, hi mom and friend.
Yeah.
Mom,
but-
friend, and son.
Anything else we?
Just
think
yeah,
that's
give
it.
us a follow
I
on
think,
TikTok if
just
you aren't
because
already.
it's so active, we're going to go back.
Yeah.
Subscribe to our YouTube.
Subscribe and follow to YouTube.
Yeah, check
Um,
out Bill Robertson.
We're trying to build up our YouTube, so if you really could, that'd be awesome.
Also, we again, I'd like to reiterate, help the local food banks because that's one of the ones that's going to be coming up our next investigation. Help the Lions Club. Help your historical societies, legions, anybody that's out there trying to do something positive for the community. Some of these theaters that are nonprofit that we're going to be going to soon.
Again, yeah, because this was the Bradford's Lions Club. When you guys, like I said, like do donations, they do fundraisers, things like that. Participate. Go to they have musical shows during the summer. Head down there and check out a band.
Get yourself a hot dog.
Yeah,
And they do fundraisers, they do public events, volunteer a little bit of your time.
And just
Yeah.
even
Yeah,
an
make them
hour
feel
a
better.
month could make a huge difference for some of these places.
Yeah.
Some of these
The
kids.
Rotary Club,
Yeah.
Yeah, and I know we've worked with a lot of these other groups, I just can't think of them
Yeah,
right now.
yeah, but this is the Lion Club's episode. So we
Yeah,
gotta,
Lions Club.
Lions Club.
Rules.
Alright, well, with that being said, guys, thank you so much for watching.
Happy hunting.
See you later, guys.
Hey guys.
Alright, I think
I've
we're
seen that angle before,
we're
it's not
probably good to
flattering.
go. Alright,
Ready?
I saw that.
Lions